It just like flops up. Okay. So here we are in the kitchen. We've got the oranges here. We're gonna juice some oranges. Now, a little bit about juicing the oranges.
Cut them in quarters, peel them, cut them in quarters, put them in.
This is just to make actual orange juice, or do you want to mix it with other things? Or what?
Straight up orange juice, that's it.
You can add vodka to it if you like. That's just my, input.
Do all the goodness, yeah, sure.
No, just
that would be
adds. Yeah, right on.
You know, we have to have some fun. This is a family
There you
show.
go.
So we have to... This is all about activist universalists saying, look, have fun and eat healthy and live healthy, but at the same time throw some vodka in the mix.
There you go. Once in a while.
You know?
As long as you balance it.
That's right. So, out comes the bed. On the other side comes the... On the other side comes the... Out comes the bed right here, obviously. On the other side, it's all the juice.
This is just like what would happen if we chewed this fruit.
Right.
So you got to look at this as the human mouth. The auger is the teeth and the stomach and intestines. Okay. Then the waste goes out, and this is what would be going into the bloodstream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real orange.
It's the same thing as would happen if I put this in my mouth and chewed it up,
right.
And then the juice goes in, and the fiber comes out as waste product. Or the body uses a certain amount of fiber.
So
but this is for.
We don't have sugar. We only have stevia right now.
This is for effectively eliminating as much fiber from the water, the distilled water.
Oh yeah, you don't need too much.
Oh, does it make it really taste sugary?
Really sweet.
We have the coffee over here.
Well, that's
see.
stevia.
Yeah, try it. See how
natural.
Because it's pretty
Sugar
sweet.
alternative, and it's very
A
sweet.
little bit, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's fine.
It's sweet enough. If not, I can add more because it's really sweet.
Can you grab that glass?
That's perfect.
jug?
Thank you.
Glass
jar.
Oh, jar.
Yeah.
I like my I like my coffee just like I like my change, nice and strong. It has to be, you know.
And I need the strainer and the funnel.
Straight. Which one?
The thick one. Yeah, that. Yep.
All right. There it comes. It's real orange juice, folks. This isn't something you're gonna buy in the store.
No.
This is something you're gonna have to actually get out and empower yourself.
Give me that. Where's the soup spoon that I was using to? Yeah.
Something you're gonna have to actually get out and empower yourself to actually get out and do. You know what I mean, Mark?
Absolutely.
Because I mean, this is
It doesn't take long. You saw how long that took. It was very easy to do. And let me tell you something. This is no, store-bought, supermarket-bought brand of juice that's been pasteurized, and it isn't even real orange juice. They reconstituted it. It's like, they call it all natural, but it's all in powderized form, and they reconstitute it, and then they re-add flavor to it.
Right.
And it's pasteurized on top of that. It's junk. I just drank a glass. I'll tell you a little story.
Okay.
I went to my mother's house to help out my mother and stepfather with their computer. She lives in New Jersey, New Germany. I'm sorry. But so I took a trip over to New Germany, and while I was there, she said, "Do you want something to drink?" I said, "Well, what do you have?" Because I know their tap water's unfiltered, so I wasn't going to dare say, "Yeah, give me some water." It was between bottled water and orange juice.
Right.
So I said, "Well, all right, let me, see what she's going to give me if I ask her for some orange juice." I knew it wasn't going to be fresh squeezed, but she poured a glass of orange juice for me, and I put it into my mouth and literally had a visceral reaction to it and spit it back in the glass. And she's like, "Oh my God, what's wrong?" And I'm like,
Right.
"This is terrible." I hadn't drank pasteurized orange juice in probably about 5 years. And she said, why? I just bought it. And she tasted it, and she's like, there's nothing wrong with this. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that's what people are drinking and think is orange juice.
Is that what she said?
No, that's what I said.
Oh.
I said, I can't believe this is what people are drinking and thinking that this is like orange juice, because, I do nothing but drink, fresh juiced orange juice. And when I tasted what the store-bought orange juice is tasting like these days, I couldn't even believe it. And, I was like, I'm sorry, but I can't drink that.
I mean, that even comes to the question, is it real orange juice to begin with?
It is. It's not. And you can look at the process online. You can just search on YouTube how, like, Tropicana or Sunkist make their orange
Aren't they run by Coca-Cola, who also poisons the soda?
I think so. But, I mean, the thing is, just look at how they make their orange juice. They're squeezing it with gigantic industrial machines, and then it's not even really taking the juice.
Right.
They're like I said, it goes into some kind of a powdered form, and then they reconstitute it and re-add orange flavor because it's so robbed of the flavor. They're really adding some sort, and then they call it natural because they derive the flavor that they're using from actual oranges. But there's nothing natural about it. It's a total, chemical process.
Now, what are you filtering here, Mark?
I'm just running them through a mesh filter to get the remain. See that little bit of pulp? Yeah. I don't leave that in the juice because, like I said, if you like a real pulpy orange juice, go right ahead and leave the pulp in. I personally,
you don't like it.
I like the juice strained personally, but that's just a preference, So, hopefully I could I'll get a little more here.
You think the elitist, that brain and mind control, brainwash and mind control, you think they eat healthy? Because that's another subject. I mean, think about it.
They're growing food on their own. They're growing organic food on their own properties.
Because they're poisoning us.
Yeah.
Why they're benefiting.
They're growing organic food on their own properties and probably in indoor types of greenhouses that are sheltered from all the fallout from the geoengineering spray that they're doing. Without any question, they're eating as healthy as they possibly can. You can bank on it.
I also heard they actually have like blood transfusions where they constantly clean their blood from all the chemicals, the mercury and the strontium.
And people will say, well, if they're spraying, all this these chemicals from geoengineering,
how is it affecting them? Right.
They're mitigating the consequences of it, while other people are just being hammered by it
right.
constantly. So we have to do what we can in the form of eating right and putting the best stuff in there and stop putting poison into the body. Now, I'm not 100% great with everything I do. I'll order a pizza sometimes, and I know that that's, not the healthiest choice in the world and has some white flour, but every once in a while, I'm going to eat something that, is just something that tastes good, that I want to eat, and I'm not saying don't do that. If you want to have a piece of chocolate cake, go have a piece of chocolate cake. Don't beat yourself up over it and, be guilty about it. But if you just eat, healthy most of the time, then you can go and have a snack every once in a while that isn't the healthiest thing in the world. I'm not telling people to be such extremists when it comes to this. Just do what you can.
Look at that. Look at this. It's the whole container, too.
Yeah, it made about a quart.
How many oranges does it take to do that?
I don't know. That was about 7, I think.
7?
Yeah, something like that.
So there you go. 7 oranges. You can buy them for $3 at the store. The same price it would cost to buy a fake amount the same size as that.
This is probably at least 6 to 8 times the nutrient quality.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if we look at the size of the jar, we say to ourselves, if you bought this at your local market, you're going to pay at least a good $4 for it, $4.55, depending on where you get it from. And for 7 oranges, you're paying probably the same.
Yeah. To me, it's definitely worth it. And like I said, you don't have to do it every single day. I don't go to the store and do this every single day.
Right. At least once a week.
Even if you do it once a week, start once a week, or start twice a week. Something like that.
Right.
But whenever I have fresh juice in the house, that's when I feel the best.
Good. And that's it's healthy living. They keep us one step ahead.
One method of starting that process, sure.
And also keeping your mind right, because over what the nasty chemicals are doing to our minds, period. I mean, you see the cancer rate, you see the rate of autism, and the rate of these kids that are being born with problems. It could be because of the chemicals we're putting in our body too. That plus the vaccines and everything.
Sure.
I mean, people think, well, if I eat unhealthy, and I have an unhealthy lifestyle, that it won't affect if I have a kid. Well, I don't know about that. I think the food we eat has energy to it, and we take on that. Oh, there you go. And we take on that energy of what we eat. That's something I've been really getting into later. I mean, and I've been getting into lately is the whole energy aspect of what we eat. Because think about it, if you look at the animals in the slaughterhouses that are being kicked around and chained and tortured,
You're eating that. Yep.
you're eating that suffering. You ever think about that?
I think about that constantly. You know, that's why.
Is there a method, like a mental
that's why I made
method?
the decision to become a vegetarian. You know, there's occult, unseen. When I say the word occult, I mean unseen energetics that are going into the body when we are consuming,
Tortured animal
factory
meat.
farm animal meat. Absolutely.
That tortured energy from these animals, that we're eating that, and
I look at it from a pure natural law perspective. Is that animal's life yours to take and consume? And I think anybody, who's being honest with themselves is going to say, no, it's their life. Does another animal's life belong to us? The dogs who live with me in this house, are they mine as far as I totally own them? I own their bodies. I'm their steward. They're one of my award, I would consider them, and it's like I'm their friend and their steward, and I try to guide their life and help it to be as good quality as possible. I don't look at it as a master-slave relationship. You know what I mean? And too many people look at not only just animals that way; they look at their own children that way.
that's true.
It's a big part of the problem that's going on. We look at our children as something that they're there to be controlled and broken and put into a certain conformist mindset so that they'll perform a certain way in the world. And all that's doing is really preparing them for the slavery of the state when parents take an attitude like that. Yeah, we need to educate our children properly so that they don't develop a poisonous worldview and believe in illusion, but there's a way of doing that.
Right.
There's a methodology of doing that doesn't take the notion that they're just our our possessions.
Right.
And too many parents look at it from that perspective, I think.
Well, that's because they were brought up that way too.
Sure, absolutely. So then they just propagate the same ideology to their children.
They're a part of the ongoing slave system.
Yep,
Slave cycle.
Absolutely. So that's all the juicing I'm going to do for today.